Hello there gardeners, welcome back. Today we're talking about how to recondition your dahlias after winter. First, find somewhere to put them. I use mushroom crates from my greengrocers and I line them with old compost bags. That way you use existing materials and don't have to pay anything. Now fill your crate with fresh multi-purpose compost. Pat it down to avoid any air pockets. Now get your dahlia tubers. These ones I bought from a garden centre last year. Others I grew from seed and others again I got from a friend. You only want to keep the firm tubers. Any mushy or dried out ones get rid of. Here in these trays they can start growing for me to take cuttings, or I can just transplant them into pots for outside once all the frost has gone. Don't forget your label, because in a few days you won't remember which dahlia is which one. The used newspaper can be put onto the compost heap. The reason I use newspaper to keep the dahlias in is so the tubers can breathe. If you put them in plastic or plastic bags, they will go moldy. In the early winter, after the first frost got to your dahlias and made them all black, you can dig them out or take them out of your pots. At that point you will shake off most of the soil and let them dry out for a few days. Once the tubers have dried out a bit, cut down the stems of the plant to about 10 centimeters. I then label them and put them in newspaper. Keep the tubers in the newspaper in a frost-free place over the winter and occasionally check that they haven't gone moldy. Of course you can treat dahlias as annuals and buy them in the spring and dispose of them in autumn. But because the tubers grow over every season, I find it's quite nice to keep them and then use them again next year. Here you can see some tubers and the stem I cut off from last year. So when you put them in the compost, of course use the stem sticking up and the little roots pointing down. Don't plant your dahlias too deep. Make sure the old stem pokes out a bit. Here you are, 4 done already. And a quick recap. Line your tray, fill it with soil. Then clean up your dahlia tubers and only plant the ones that are quite firm. It's interesting how some of the tubers survive the winter without any problems at all. In other cases, half the tubers have to be disposed of because they're just no good. If you find the tubers get too big, you can always break them in smaller chunks and share them with your neighbors and friends. Depending on your garden, the location of your garden and the soil, you may be lucky enough to leave the dahlia tubers in the ground all year round. In my case, that's not an option, so my dahlia tubers go into the pots for the summer and then come out late autumn, early winter. And now to water. As the tubers are quite dry, they won't need that much water to start off with. Also, as they're sitting in liners, you don't want it to get too wet because the water has got nowhere to go. Put the trays in a dry, bright, frost-free area and wait for new growth to appear.